When the iron beast devours the city, humans become fuel. The only way to survive on this wasteland is to plunder. In 2018 science fiction drama The City of Plunder brought the audience to a post-apocalyptic world. Human civilization collapsed. The city was transformed into a mobile iron fortress. The weak became the new order. The city of London turned into a giant beast that devours everything. And the revenge of the heroine. Hester Shaw will open an ultimate battle that concerns humanity and survival. But when she found her own identity and connected with the dark secret of London City, who is the real prey in this revenge game? In 2018, the Third World War broke out in human society. The whole process lasted only 60 minutes. Although the time was short, it destroyed the whole civilization. Humans were almost sent back to the Cold War. Modern technology has no longer exist in the future, because after the launch of the quantum energy weapon Medusa, it only took an hour to destroy the continent of the Earth into countless pieces. After thousands of years of Earth's energy and weapons destruction, human society became an abandoned world. The rest of the Earth's humans became nomads. After 600 years of rest, they have machines. So the age of migration is coming. The migration system is to mechanize the city or town so that it can move to a resourceful place with the population in it. Due to the urgent need of resources in the city, the large migration city of London must find a smaller mobile city every day in order to obtain population and resources through the way of eating small fish, thereby maintaining and expanding the operation of London. The city management warehouse of London, the typical urban Darwinism, the weak and strong, the superior and the inferior, and so on. After many years of encroachment, London City has become a stronghold in all the disadvantaged cities. In addition to big cities, there are also some independent small cities and castles hidden underground or hidden in the clouds. Each has its own way of survival. The migration system is flourishing everywhere, but there is also a sense of hostility. The Anti-Migration Alliance. The alliance claims to settle on static land and use the resources it has cultivated to feed its own population. They choose to walk into the mountains to find land that can be farmed. With the rise of the migration city, these people are driven to the deeper mountains. One of the largest and most successful resettlement points is a mountain country on the East Asian prairie. As the core country of the Anti-Migration Alliance, it is protected by the steep mountains and mountains. The adjacent city can't get there. The mountain country has built a 2,000-meter defensive wall between the mountains to defend the country. For hundreds of years, the mountain country has successfully resisted countless invasions, so it has become the #1 enemy of London City. But the energy supply that needs to be maintained to reach the mountain country and the constantly swallowed small cities will be the driving force of London City. And the hunting target of London City today is these small towns. The sound of the town's radio reminds people to stop trading immediately. They also found a giant boar coming from afar. They immediately scattered and fled back to their homes. This temporary market made up of mobile towns also put down their stalls. They flexibly shrank and folded all the steel towns that were originally stuck together and quickly cut off from other towns and separated into individuals. Then a large engine started. A lot of black smoke came out. All the towns were on fire. They were in a hurry to escape in different directions. But at the critical moment, the engine of a mining town broke down. If nothing goes wrong, it will become the hunting target of the giant boar behind it. The London City, which is tens of thousands of meters high, has come to an end. The residents of the mining town also accelerated the repair speed. The commander in London City just watched everything quietly. As the largest city hunter in the world, London City is undoubtedly the nightmare of all small cities. With the cruel means of weak and strong, dozens of such small and medium-sized cities have been swallowed up. The giant boar has opened the door to the swallowing city. The mining town has finally started up. The town chief hit the steering wheel. Before being crushed by the huge gears of London City, he turned around and ran crazy to the front. In this scene, you can clearly see the huge gap between them. The mining town was running like an ant on the ground. The residents of London City were excitedly swimming up to the high platform and shouted, appreciating the swallowing feast. Because of the coal and steel stored in the mining town, London City could barely keep running for a week. The commander in charge of the chase told the mayor that they had to take it down. After receiving the order from the mayor of London City, the driver accelerated the chase. Unfortunately, the mining town could only drive full speed through the deep pit that was crushed by the wheels. Even if all the mechanical arms were shaken off, they dared not stop at all. It can be seen that the distance between the two sides is getting closer and closer. The town chief could only order to evacuate the storage room. The 75 tons of salt collected by hard work were all emptied. As the weight of the mining town dropped significantly, it finally opened the distance between the two sides. But when the town residents cheered, London City still bit the mining town and continued to chase. At this time, the town chief found a narrow valley not far away. The town chief could hide in it. So the town chief immediately changed direction and tried to break through the gap that London City could not cross. But he didn't expect that there was a huge deep pit that was crushed by the wheels in front of him. It blocked the way. Fortunately, he found it in time and hit the direction. This avoided the risk of the town falling. But this extreme operation also caused the town, which was originally broken to no longer hold on. The support of the wall began to break. The water tower was overturned. Even the wheels flew out. When the time was ripe, London City immediately ran and fired 4 hooks into the air. Each shot pierced the wall accurately and hit the target and directly controlled the town. Now the town can't run away at all. The residents were desperate for a moment, and the high-ranking nobles of London City shouted excitedly. For them, this was just a game of winning and losing. As the chase was over, at the moment London City opened the deep pit again. It didn't matter how hard the mining town struggled. In the end, under the tug of the rope, this small town was slowly dragged in and became the stronghold of London City. And this scene happened every day in the western city. After entering the interior of London City, the radio in the city rang. All mining town residents were arranged to leave the town. They were forced to hand over all their property and wait in line for inspection. In the end, they were divided into the laborers or the lowest level slaves of London City. London City will pick out useful items for recycling. Some will be put in museums for exhibition. Useless things are treated as garbage and thrown into the furnace as fuel to provide power to London City. Tom is one of the few archaeologists in the city. He hates war and invasion very much. He works in a museum. He loves to collect and study various technological objects of the old age. The curator assigned him a task today to entertain the noble girl Caitlin in front of him. Caitlin is studying the history of the 60-minute war in the old age. Tom enthusiastically took Caitlin to visit his studio and learned that Caitlin also hated war. Tom also showed Caitlin the various weapons and energy of the old age secretly hidden. He told Caitlin that when London City passed through the swamp, he would secretly bury these ancient technologies. Then he took Caitlin to his worksite. Every time London City captured a small city, he would inspect the war products he had collected in person and store valuable things in the British Museum to prevent historical ancient technology products from being thrown into the furnace. This time he was lucky to find a bakery. However, the commander, who was usually very busy, came here today to look for the antique. Until then, Tom learned that Caitlin was the commander's daughter. However, Walden was not interested in ordinary small shops, but rather admired the high-tech weapon components left by the ancients, because the quantum energy weapons made up of these things were the culprits of the destruction of the Earth thousands of years ago. Tom, who was familiar with history, knew the terror of quantum weapons, so after discovering similar components, he would store them secretly and destroy them all. Of course, Walden had no idea about this. He turned around and showed a friendly attitude. He wanted to appease the citizens of the slave mining town. He was very friendly. He was a hero respected by everyone in London City. But he had an unknown ambition. He wanted to restore the technology Medusa before the war and dominate the world to destroy the enemy forces. In his enthusiastic speech, when he was brainwashed by the slaves he had just received, a masked girl in the crowd suddenly showed up with a sharp knife and approached him slowly. "This is for my mother. This is for Pandora's jewel." Walden looked at the girl with shock. He seemed to have guessed the identity of the female assassin. After the female assassin was pushed away, he was going to go up and make up for it. But Tom, who was next to him, rushed over in time to stop him. When he took off the female assassin's weapon, he accidentally pulled off her veil and showed a girl with scars on her face. This made Tom panic. When he saw the opportunity to avenge his bloodshed, the girl could only beat Tom. Then a large number of soldiers rushed in. The girl who failed to assassinate had to turn around and run away. She ran away for a month while dealing with the waste materials. In order to find out the truth, Tom quickly chased after her. But the girl ran into the mining town where she was being cut by a saw in order to escape. The huge saw machine was cutting down the town building step by step. The 2 tiny humans seemed insignificant in front of the huge saw. They would be thrown into a mess if they were not careful. However, based on the knowledge of the terrain, the girl was as good as flying in the mining town, easily avoiding the wheels of the fire arrows and running crazily along the familiar street. But Tom was still running like a dog. Although he didn't know much about the structure of the mining town, Tom knew that he had to follow the girl to save his own life. But when he finally jumped off the high platform, he found a huge wheel coming in front of him. It greedily swallowed the steel building under his feet. At a critical moment, the girl ran out of the separation room and closed the steel door to lock Tom outside. Seeing that he was about to die on the spot, Tom hurriedly tried his best to break open the steel door. He was lucky enough to escape and come to the fuel room, and the mine town that had just been crushed would be thrown into the furnace as fuel to provide endless power to London. The girl ran farther and farther, but when she turned around, she saw that Walden was catching up with her on the elevator. She saw that the exit was blocked and the girl panicked. In a hurry, she could only turn around and run deeper. As a result, she ran into a dead end, which is the garbage disposal station. The waste material produced by London every day would be thrown to the ground along with the huge exhaust port. This was also the only chance for the girl to escape. So she didn't hesitate to jump directly into the dumpster. Unexpectedly, she was caught by Tom, who followed her closely. The girl knew that if she fell into Walden's hands, there must be no way to survive. She warned Tom to let go of himself. It's better not to get involved in this mess, because Walden is not a good man. So if you find out the truth, you will be ruthlessly killed by Walden. It turned out that he was here to take revenge. The girl said it and got rid of Tom's hand and fell down. Not long after, Walden also rushed over. But when he saw that the girl had fallen down, he let go of his heart. He wanted to turn around and leave. Tom accidentally told her what the girl said. Murdered her mother. Murder? That's an ugly word. I'm sorry you are dead. Wallenden showed a subtle expression. Suddenly, he broke the guardrail behind Tom. Then he reached out and pushed Tom, who was trying to find out the truth ruthlessly. It seems that this guy did kill his mother. When Caterine arrived with the soldiers, Wallenden told his daughter without discrimination. The two of them fell down during the fight, but Caterine noticed that Tom's friend Bevis was on the other side of the platform. He seemed to have seen the whole thing. Even so, Wallenden was still worried. He sent a reconnaissance team to search the air, to make sure Tom and Caterine were no longer a threat to him. Fortunately, the girl was alert enough to hide in the corner, so she wasn't found. After confirming that the scout had left, he ran out. Not only that, he even helped Tom hide his identity. Before Tom woke up, the girl took the money and dagger from him. Not long after, Tom woke up from a coma. He saw the girl pointing at himself with a knife. Then he said nothing and left. This made Tom confused. The girl said she shouldn't have jumped off with him. After a while, she suddenly remembered that she was pushed down by Wallenden. But she didn't wait for him to ask the truth. The girl suddenly got angry. She had been hiding in the mining town for half a year. Finally, she had a chance to kill the enemy. But at the critical moment, she was destroyed by you again. This made Tom feel very helpless. He didn't know the hatred between the two of them. Although he wanted to kill this man directly, but now things have happened. Now they are in a dangerous wilderness. The girl could only spare his life. Then he went alone. Tom has never left London. He didn't know how to survive on the surface. He had to follow the girl all the way and try to get close to the two of them. But the girl didn't want to talk to him. He continued to look for a way out of the huge ditch that was pushed out along the belt. The girl's name is Hester Shaw. She was an orphan since she was a child. She grew up in the wilderness and knew it very well. There were 4 crises in the wilderness at night. In order to prevent the dead from being found as slaves, they couldn't light the fire. They could only collect firewood and replenish water. Oh my God, this is disgusting. Thirst will kill you before hunger. Do this so you can drink your own urine. Tom lived in an environment of wealth and luxury. He obviously couldn't accept this way of drinking water. He would rather drink it with his own temperature. While talking, Hester suddenly took out the bread from his pocket and began to eat it. When he saw that Tom was starving, he threw the rest of the food over. Tom looked at the bread in his hand and found that it had expired for more than 1,600 years. Tom was full of water. Unexpectedly, Hester said he couldn't eat it, because smart ancients usually add a lot of preservatives to the food they sell. So even if it's been thousands of years, it won't go bad. Tom had no choice but to put the fire in his heart and tried to take a bite. The food that the ancients secretly praised was full of science and technology. At night, Hester suddenly woke up from a nightmare. He heard Tom screaming. It turned out that Tom had seen a small town far away. So he shouted for help. But he, a nerd with 0 survival skills, didn't know the danger of society. Because the people who appear at night are usually the herdsmen who are specialized in hunting. They target the lonely humans. Once they are captured by the enemy, they will be regarded as slaves and sent to the embroidery market for auction. Seeing this, the two of them hurriedly hid themselves in the ditch and tried to escape through the night. But unexpectedly, during the climbing process, Tom suddenly slipped and fell. And in order to pull him up, Hester accidentally hurt his leg by the long hair shot. But even so, he still endured the pain and reminded Tom to run away quickly. Unexpectedly, Tom just turned around and found that Hester was gone. Tom, who only left something to be done, saw that the huge wheel was about to be crushed. Tom was scared and hesitated. Suddenly, he felt his feet were empty. Are you in one place? Yes. After a pair of old couples saved them, they immediately stepped out of the premonition and began to observe the surrounding situation. Until the dead gradually left, the engine was started. And this is a mobile hospitality center similar to the Centipede. This couple was very warm to them and promised to send Tom and Hester to the nearest trading city. They also arranged a room for them to rest, but this room looks like a cell. At the same time, Caitlin found Tom's friend Bevis and told him everything she saw. Caitlin didn't dare to believe it after she learned the truth. Bevis then told Caitlin that her father had deceived everyone. She has been concealing some things and secretly building something unrecognizable in the church. She wanted to go in and investigate many times, but the guards were tight. Caitlin told Bevis that she could find a way to get in. As the resources of London City were running out, the mayor was very worried, and Walden claimed that he was studying an energy project that could provide energy for the city. But in fact, he was studying the quantum weapon that would destroy the world, and it has been developed to a critical stage. As long as they collect enough ancient technology products, they can repair the great murderous Medusa. At that time, they will launch an attack on the mountains after living on the wall. Then they will seize the resources and succeed in London. Finally, they will take over the world. What he took from Hester's mother many years ago was the main weapon to control the quantum weapon. Now, Walden is only one step away from success. But the premise is to solve the problem of Hester first, because Walden knew that those two people would not die so easily. But he didn't know who to send to kill them. But Walden's chief scientist received a message from a prison in Shockmer. They confused a hunter who was a gold reward killer who was mechanically modified all over his body. Walden thought that mechanical loss was uncontrollable and he was afraid that he could not be used by them. Unexpectedly, the scientist said that he was also chasing Hester before he was captured. Obviously, their goals are exactly the same. In order to solve the problem completely, Walden set off immediately and went to the prison thousands of miles away to try to persuade the mechanical loss to cooperate.